everyone, my name is Ashla and we're here at Maboneng in the city of dreams. Have you ever wondered what would happen if men and women sat in a room to discuss social issues we're all shy about? Join me and my guests as we unpack what we're all really thinking. Welcome to The Circle. Welcome everyone, welcome back to The Circle, the safe space for a candid conversation. So we're just going to get right into it. The first topic of the day is, are men and women inherently different? Or is society giving us excuses to act a particular way based on our gender? Who'd like to start?
Okay, I think I'll tackle it first. I feel like it's really about your frame of reference or the kind of examples that you are exposed to. I feel like for me, I do have expectations of what a man should be like or what they're expected to do, how they should act, what I'm expecting from them. And it's not going to be the same for everyone, but I feel like as a woman, you build a man, but it's exhausting. There are basics that you expect from a man. So I don't know if someone has a different take on that.
That's an interesting take.
What are the basics you expect?
A man is a provider, full stop. If you're broke, I'm not going to even entertain you. That's that on that.
Okay.
What is the measure of broke?
I feel like if I'm at a certain level, it's not particularly how much you earn, but I expect you to fend for me. I'm not going to make you kids if you can't even take care of me.
One person.
Yeah, so you have me to take care. I know I have a job, I'm employed, but...
Let's hear your take first before we break down what you're trying to... What is your take on the roles that men and women are supposed to play? Why they're there, you know?
Well, I feel in my life journey that it is not wise to have expectations. One who gets disappointed is one who had expectations. So in the current dispensation background and where we come from and how we live, I find it valuable to limit rather the expectation you have, because I don't know what you are exposed to that might lead to set expectations. And if I have existing ones, the odds are slight for us to correlate with these different backgrounds. So personally, to respond to that,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily conform to having strict and specific expectations.
But do you think that just inherently in life in general, are we different? Or is this just is there a level playing field for men and women? You know what I'm saying? Like she said, no, I want a man to be a provider, for instance. So that's how we should be different. And then you feel?
I don't think we're different. I think we're raised differently, which is what basically makes men think a certain way and women think a certain way. But I think we're raised differently, which is where gender roles come into play. For me, I don't want a household with gender roles. We should all do things that benefit both of us. So I think we're not different, but we're raised differently, which is a problem, which leads to men thinking differently, or this, a man is a man. I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that so much.
Okay.
So you're born the same, but...
Okay. But society tells, because of how I was raised, we become different. Okay, Drew? Let's give Drew a shot.
Don't you feel that we're raised differently because we are different? If I have two different plants and they eat different food, I won't just mix and match. They're different. This one needs certain things, that one needs certain things. A boy needs certain things when growing up, so he's raised like a boy. He's different. There's certain things you can teach a girl there's certain things that each needs to learn separately. That's what makes us different. We're raised different because we're different.
I agree.
We can never run away from that.
But why is there like a level of who's better, who's...
I don't think it's a level of who's better, but to be fair, in my family, there was also no gender roles.
Okay.
Whoever was older cooked. If you're an older brother, you'll cook for the younger siblings. But at the end of the days, there was a point in your life, be it puberty, where there was a difference in how you had to be communicated. Yeah. A man will be taught you will be a provider. Thus, I teach you provider roles and information, and that's the inherent difference. So at puberty, I was told I'm going to need to provide for someone one day. You're going to be the man of the house. You're going to need to do this. You're going to do that. All of that is expected of you. The thing that you expect from a man, we're also taught at at a younger age as well. So it's we are different because we are different.
I feel like it's circumstantial as well. I mean, there are different levels to being a man. Someone from I don't want to say poor, but poor background or not very privileged, you can't really say, I don't know, do you have an example of what it is to be a provider? So
So
I
do you
feel
have them
like,
to learn that
I mean,
lesson?
how do you learn that
Okay.
lesson? It's also
Okay.
very circumstantial. Like, do we have the money now that we're teaching you to provide when your dad is not working?
Let's hear from Caesar. Hey, Caesar, I'm interested to hear your take on this.
Thank you. I think that we need to backdrop our discussion. I was discussing with you earlier that, in the workplace, this is the most dynamic place where I see a big sort of mantle being taken up by women to say we have rights being trampled on and so on. They have a cause in the workplace. They feel like they need to work a lot harder to be equal to men, and even when they're equal, they still feel they don't get paid the same amount and so on. But they kind of create, another fight against men, which is similar to that men are trash thing, that everyone now must take the burden of this cause that we do not know about. I'm not saying the cause is either right or wrong, or I do not support it. I'm just saying I don't know you have a cause. When you walk in the door, all I see is an equal. So I try and interact with you in an equal manner, but then you are coming from you've already wronged me type of point of view. So the question is very, very deep in that it raises all of these different perspectives, especially from the corporate. In my view, that's quite the most.
So you're saying on like the basis of just our physiology, nature even treats us different. So generally the differences are there, but they are in modern society, the space is meant to accommodate us equally, is what you're saying. Okay. Mandy, what's your take?
I don't quite agree that the space is meant to treat us equally. We live in a patriarchal society. We all know that. They call us, firstly, there are so many divisions. There's racial, and then there's gender, and then, but they call us angry black people. Then you have the angry black man, and then you have the angry black woman, which I think is what Caesar is saying, is that I already come at you. I don't know you, and I don't know that you see me as equal. But when I come at you, I'm angry because generally society says, I need to fight harder. I need to do more than you. And it's not necessarily an individual thing, but it's the group of women. Right. And I think sometimes men aren't conscious of that. They aren't aware that our struggles are different. And it's based on society. It's social conditioning that is based on the history, I think. But we're also in a space where so much is changing. I think the roles were so defined in the past. I mean, I think the struggle has always been there, but the roles were defined in the past. You would have women stay at home, and you would have men go out and provide. And that's not my personal experience. I was raised in that way, but as I got older and I had my own relationships, that wasn't the same for me. So I think we're in a gray area where we're trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. I feel like my personal opinion on it is I've always had the perspective that we are equal, especially when you're raised by a woman who is strong or the main provider. You start to see when society says men is the provider, it becomes a very unfamiliar image of man being that to you. But so I don't know where I stand, actually. If we are different or if we're not. Because as much as I am like an alpha female, I like to believe that we can all do it. But at the same time, I do find value in being a little bit more vulnerable to let a man play a particular role if he wants to play it.
Yeah.
You think so? Okay, I like that. I like Drew. Too bad you're engaged. But anyway, let's move on to the next topic.